Hey, everybody. I always get asked by people that watch some of my videos and stuff. They always, and I make comments and stuff on other people's channels, but they ask me, so what have you done? This is what they're asking me. What have I done to um, fight back or to try to fix what's going on other than just, and they always say, other than just get on YouTube and bitch or Facebook and bitch. All you do is bitch about it, but you ain't done nothing about it. What have you done? They always ask me. So let's start like this. My mom always told me, because of my lack for respect for any authority, and that included her and my dad, for my total lack of respect for any authority, she was convinced I would spend half my life in prison. And she told me that many times. Even in, I was a rebel. I was a pain in the ass, folks. You don't think I was any different from now to the time I was a kid, do you? Uh, Still a pain in the ass. But even in junior high, my parents went to the school and would tell them at the beginning of the year, what do we need to sign? If this boy gets out of control, don't even call us. We'll sign it right now. Just beat the hell out of him, put him back in class. And they would sign the paperwork, man. It was ridiculous because that's the first thing they go to deal with me. Is that I would say something in a classroom or something, disrupt the class, or uh, if I had to go to the bathroom and they wouldn't let me go, I'd just get up and walk out and go. And so that was their first line of defense was they the teacher would either send me to the office and come down there and have a talk with the principal and the vice principal and me, or she would leave, or him or her would leave. The teacher would leave the room and come back with the principal or the vice principal, and they would call me out into the hallway where nobody else was because everybody was in their classrooms. And there would be, anywhere from 2 licks to 5 licks was the most they could hit me 5 times. And that would be their first line of defense. Anything I did, it was, hell, get the paddle, let's hit him. And so I knew this, and at the times they would make the teacher that had the problem with you do the wax, not the principal or the vice principal. He would bring the paddle, or she would bring the paddle. We always had male principal and vice principal, so one of them two would bring the paddle, and then the teacher had to do the wax. Most of these teachers were women or little skinny or old people. They couldn't hit you and hurt you. So most of the time they'd hit me 2 or 3 times, and I'd walk. I'd be laughing when I go back in the room. Now make no mistakes. There was a couple that hit me, and after 2 or 3 or 4 times, it hurt like hell, and I did. It brought tears to my eyes a few times. Don't make no mistakes about that. But the majority of them, I could laugh off. Well, by the time where I lived, you had first through fifth was in elementary. You had sixth through eighth was junior high, and then ninth through 12th grade was high school. Well, eighth grade, It was either 7th or 8th grade was the last time I let them hit me with that one of them paddles. And the reason being is the teacher I pissed off, it wouldn't have bothered me one bit. I could have took 10 from that teacher. But they changed the rules on me. Didn't have to be the teacher that you pissed off that whacked you at this time. They could go get any teacher they wanted. Well, we had a damn guy. He was the male, or the boys' gym teacher. He was also the varsity football coach. He owned a some bricklaying, they had a brick business of some kind, but he did the school stuff during the school year and then did his brick business during, he ran it all year, his brick business, but he only messed with it when school wasn't in. He was making money. But he was a freaking bodybuilder and a big old boy, man. He was big. And he was probably only in, I would say, his late 30s or early 40s. And he could swing that damn paddle. Well, I'd never been hit by him. I got in trouble. And they lined I was laughing because I knew when they called me out, this teacher was going to have to whack me. And I was already laughing. I walked out there and seen big boys standing out there, and I was like, what, wait a minute, what? And they said, you got 4 licks coming this time. And I think his name was Mr. Smith, seriously, was a gym teacher. And Mr. Smith's going to give them to you. Now, you had to bend over, and they'd tell you to grab your ankles, or at least put your hands on your knees when they smacked you on the ass. So I was at my eyes, I'm like, what? This is a whole nother ball game right here. So I assumed the position. This guy got behind me. 1 lick. I had 4 coming. He lit my ass up. There was a doorway, an exit, probably about 40 yards from where I was hit. I wasn't sticking around for lick 2, 3, and 4. I busted my ass running down that hallway. I hit that door wide open and ran about as far as I could run. I probably was able to run off of school grounds before I was out of breath. And I walked my ass home. Now, I was told I couldn't come back without my parents. I took my parents come back with me. And I told them, that's it. There ain't nobody else hitting me with no more sticks. They had me making my own paddles. And when I was in shop class, they would have me cutting out the paddles they was going to hit me with later. That's how stupid I was. I fixed a few of them, though. They broke real easy. But like I said, my mom, she just swore up and down because I had no respect for authority that I'd spend half my life in prison. Man, but I'm going to jump up. I'm not even going to go through a bunch. I'm going to go right straight to first times I had to deal with federal government. I had a lot of local shit in between that junior high and what I'm getting ready to talk about now, but I'm already 9 minutes in. I worked for my dad for 10 years. He had a license, bonded, and insured, 100% legit house painting business. When I went on my own, I was providing a service to people who couldn't afford a licensed, bonded, and insured company because that costs a lot of money to have all that shit. So you had to put it in your price. Well, there was a lot of people who couldn't afford that. So I was their man. Now, I ran my business for about 15 years this way. I never had a state license. You had to be licensed in every city. I never had a city license. My dad's business had those licenses, but I never had them. I never used workman's comp when I had people working for me. I never charged them any taxes. I paid their taxes for them. Let's see. I got taken to court one time, and it wasn't because I did a bad job. It was because a man from another country wanted his house painted for free, and he knew I wasn't licensed, so he turned me in just so he didn't have to pay me for painting his house. He waited till I was done, and when he was supposed to pay me, he just turned me in for painting without a license, and so I didn't have to paint, or he didn't have to pay me. Matter of fact, it cost me $500 fine in court for me to paint his house on top of the materials and everything and the labor to paint his house. That's what it cost me. One time that happened to me in 15 years. I filed a loss to the IRS every year for 15 years. A complete and utter loss. Didn't pay them shit. I even wrote off, just like the big corporations did. Oh, they own a yacht. These big money people. They invite their customers, their clientele out onto this yacht. They can write the yacht off in taxes, business expense. They all do it. Been doing it for a long time. So, like I told you guys, I used to ride dirt bikes. I had two at one time, an RM250 and a CR250. The CR250 was built for race. The motor was built, everything. It was board ported, polished, and every damn thing. I rode them off in Texas. The trailer I hauled them bikes around in, I rode off in Texas. Part of my truck for taking it in my van, I had a van to pull the trailer with. Part of my van, I rode off in Texas because I used it to pull my motorcycles out there to the desert and shit to go riding. When I got out there, I always had business cards with me. People out there be riding bikes and shit. I'd just walk around, pass out some business cards, tell everybody who I was. I had it right on my van too. Told if they needed any work done, give me a call. I'll come and do it, you know. I got a lot of work doing that. Those bikes were business expenses. I wrote them off. Whole time I worked for myself, never got audited. Filed a loss every year on my business. Never had a license in the state of Arizona, still filed my business. Didn't have no liability insurance, nothing, still filed my business. Like I said, was only taken to court once. I still backed all my jobs, just like if I was licensed, bonded, and insured. I backed them for 2 years. If something went wrong with that paint job, if it started peeling or whatever, I went back and fixed it. I backed all my work. I just didn't back the government sticking their nose into my business. And I didn't go along with it. Well, when they destroyed the housing market and shit, it took us smaller businesses out. It even took my dad's business out. That's why they ended up leaving Arizona before I did. And but when they took out my painting business, and that's when about the time I started going through them 3 heart surgeries that I ended up going through. I had to switch. I couldn't go back to construction. Couldn't go back to painting, nothing like that. So I looked in the newspaper. Wasn't nothing but truck driving jobs and nursing jobs and doctor jobs and shit. Well, I wasn't going to go to school to be a doctor or a nurse. So I picked truck driving school. Now, I was driving trucks back when I first went down into Florida. Back then, all you needed was a damn chauffeur's license. You could drive a semi. I was driving split shifts, dump trucks and shit for Florida Power and Light. I was driving box trucks, everything off of a chauffeur's license. Well, by this time, you had to have a Class A CDL with like 4 or 5 freaking like tanker endorsements. You could have a tanker endorsement. You could have a flatbed endorsement. I can't remember all the damn endorsements, but they had all these endorsements. So I found a place in Phoenix, Arizona. They did a professional truck driving school there, and you were already set up with a trucking company, which was Warner. My first trucking company was Warner. They sponsored this truck driving school. But by the time you get out of that truck driving school, there's nothing you can't drive. You got every endorsement. You can haul everything from fuel, explosives. You can haul it all. People. Well, no, not people. I didn't have no people endorsement. But I could haul everything but people. And did. Now, when I started working, and I did this, I had to work for other people. Now, a couple of years go by, I'm working for the guy I told you guys in the last video we were hauling potatoes. This clown, he ended up telling the government that I made $25,000 for him, and I only worked for him for 2 weeks. And he paid me $25,000 in 2 weeks. That's what he told the IRS. IRS came to me saying, you owe us about $10,000. I said, well, you're out of your damn mind. I said, that guy, if he was paying me that kind of money, I would still be working for him. And there would be he could ask me just about anything this side of sex, and I would have done it for $20,000 in a 2-week period. That's $10,000 a week. Hell, he wouldn't. I would have done almost anything for that. Almost. But I said, he's lying to you. You better go back and go through his damn book. They said, no, we're just coming after you. Me? I said, I'm telling you, he's lying to you. You're not going to check his books. Show me where he paid me $25,000 for 2 weeks. That was it, $25,000 for a 2-week period. You show me in the books where he's done it. They said, well, we're not going to do that. We're just going to send you the paperwork. You owe us, like they said, I owed them $10,000 or some shit. I said, send whatever you're going to send. I've got to read this shit. Well, I get that shit, and that's when I started looking into the tax laws, folks. Clear back then. You cannot get the IRS to send you a complete copy, including the code book that goes with the federal tax code, or the whole thing. I want the whole damn law so I can read through it, see what it says. They won't do that. The son of a bitch is 75,000 pages. That's why. 75,000 pages for this law. Well, they would send me little couple paragraphs. See, that ain't enough. That ain't enough. I can't make heads or tails out of what this is actually saying because I need the definitions to the words that are in this. And I know they do this. It's called legalese. They ain't going to do it. I asked them, where can I buy a copy of it? You can't buy a copy of it. You can't go to the library and look at a copy of it. You can't go to the law library and look at a copy of it. But yet they want you to believe I've asked H&R Block. I've asked these places that claim they're tax people. Let me see your copy of the federal tax laws. Federal income tax law. We don't have a copy. We get these programs that come to us and we run them on our computers. That's it. Well, this is the way I see it, folks. If the bully down the street is telling you I need another $100 this month, or I'm going to pick on you and I'm going to beat your ass and I'm going to take your shit every time I see you, do you pay the bully or not? How many times do you pay the bully before you don't pay him anymore? How many ass whippings, how much stuff do you have to lose before you don't pay the bully anymore? Well, I chose a long time ago. I'm not going to pay people who are doing nothing but screwing me. I'm not going to pay the bully. I'll take the ass whippings. I'll let them take everything I got. And they did. They took it all. Last year, couldn't wear a mask. 2 years ago when it started, 2.5 years ago. I couldn't wear a mask then. I can't wear a mask now. They said there was an exemption, medical exemption in the mandates. I was being attacked everywhere I went for it, refused service because of my disabilities that I was born with. I was born with my lung and heart problem. Nothing I did to myself did that cause my heart and lung problems, folks. I've got proof of that. I got my medical records. You want to see them? Got them sitting right out there in the car. As I light up a cigarette that I've been smoking for 47 years. My lung doctor still said the damage to your lungs would have happened whether you smoked or not. Now, they said the smoking isn't helping, for sure, but it ain't what's damaging my lungs. What's damaging my lungs is damaging it much faster than this. I couldn't wear a mask, and I started videotaping people attacking me, refusing service to me. And I went to the police department. Police department said they're not playing mask police. I said, but people are attacking me. They're refusing me when there's a medical exemption in the mandates. We're not going to do nothing about it. If they call us, we're not even coming. Go to the sheriff. Tells me the same thing. If they call us, we're not even coming. I get a hold of the governor's office, the attorney general of Ohio's office, the health department's office, the mayor of Youngstown's office. I was calling everybody, folks, everybody, trying to find out what kind of paperwork I can get that gives me exemption like the mandate states. None of them had an answer. Because even though they put the medical exemption in the mandate, they had no intentions of backing it. The doctors were told if they give anybody a medical exemption for masks, they will lose their license. That's how I lost my medications for my heart doctor a year and a half ago. They have had me trespassed from Five Guys restaurant, criminally trespassed from Five Guys restaurant, a grocery store. I had permission from the district manager to be in there without a mask on, and the public library for not wearing a mask. They prosecuted me. I stood up and fought them without taking one of their lawyers or without hiring my own lawyer because I did nothing wrong. I claimed Jesus was my lawyer and Jesus was standing there with me the whole time. It's in the recordings. I lost. They gave me 2 years jail term on. They claimed I was driving without a license, which I had a license in my hand, in my pocket. It just didn't have an Ohio address on it, and it wasn't an Ohio license. So they claimed I was driving completely without a license at all, and the law be damned. They prosecuted me on that. Then they claimed I ran from a police officer, and in the process tried to run him over with my car. All this extended off of me not wearing a mask. Like I said, they suspended 2 years. Put me on a year's probation and fined me $622. I'm about 3 or 4 months away from that probation period being over with. The fine was paid within 2 weeks. Hadn't had to see a probation officer or anybody in 9 months, 10 months, 9 months. I fought man's law. I've been fighting man's law my entire life. Ask my family. Ask my blood family. Ask my family that's up here with me. I've been fighting this stuff my entire life. In court, out of court, on YouTube, on Facebook, all over the damn place. It hasn't just been me on here bitching. I fought man's law and I lost. But I'm still Watachi and I'm still running free. And I will never go along with man's law. God's law is what I follow. Man's out of their damn mind. out of their damn minds. People, God loves you. So do I. Just say no. If all of us did what I've done, these guys wouldn't even think they have any damn power. They wouldn't even think they had any damn power. If y'all just say no, I'm not paying the bully. I see this right now. I see this. Oh, send your money to the Red Cross. It's going to help all the people that are in Ukraine and having to leave and being killed and all that. It's going to people. You send the American Red Cross $1 million to go to them people, and they'll get maybe 100,000 of it. That's all they're going to get. Now, if it was they'd get 800,000 of it, and the Red Cross would only keep them 100,000 of it, that'd be a different story. But that ain't the way it is. You give the Red Cross $1 million, maybe the people it's supposed to go to, maybe they'll get 200,000, but I doubt it. That's any organization today that claims to be what is that? That they claim to take donations to help the needy. Goodwill. That money don't go back into the community. Most of that damn money goes into whoever owns that damn store. Their pocket. People, you guys, God loves you and so do I. I'm going to end it here. You guys have a good day. Good night, till the next one.